Welcome back to another episode of the Tier1 podcast. I'm your host, Brent Tucker, owner of FRCC. That's First Responders Coffee, Cigar, and Bourbon Company. Go to frcc.shop and use promo code Tier1 to get 15% off the world's best coffee, cigars, and bourbon.
And I'm Drew Tucker, Chief of Research and Development at frcc.shop. Guys, join our Patreon. There, it's brought to you by Cobalt Kinetics, and you'll get behind-the-scenes exclusive content. There's a fitness forum. There's a weapons forum. There's a weapons expert from Cobalt Kinetics ready to answer all of your gun questions. Join the Patreon today. And if you don't, at least like and subscribe. Help the channel.
And as always, this episode is brought to you by Human Performance TRT. Go to hp-trt.com. Use promo code Tier1 and get 20% off all of your testosterone and peptide needs. Don't wait any longer to get in the best shape of your life. Guys, I'm excited about this one. With us today, we have Chief Warrant Officer 4 retired Greg Coker. 22 years in the U.S. Army as a helicopter pilot. Majority of his time spent with the legendary 160th SOAR, Special Operations Aviation Regiment, and also the author of the book, Death Waits in the Dark. Welcome to the show, Greg.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Man, pleasure is all mine. We've already talked about it a little bit, and if it wasn't for you and your old unit and the standards guys like you passed down, I wouldn't be here because of the relationship our units have together. And it doesn't end on the battlefield. Just having a 160th guy here is important to me.
Good.
Absolutely. Yeah. I love the name of your book, Death Waits in the Dark. The name of a book is important. I'm sure it weighs on you. How long did it take you to come up with a great name like that?
Yes, there's quite a bit of thought, many sleepless nights, waking up in the middle of the night and jotting down on a pad. And it took, I'm going to say 10 or 12 cuts.
Yeah.
Between Geo and I, and until we came up with, hey, this is what we do. This is what it's going to be. So Death Waits in the Dark. That's our motto.
To put you on the spot, because like I said, it's similar. I've never written a book, but I've had to come up with whether it be the name of a company, the name of products, sure. and you just go back and forth. You get one shot at it, and it has to be good.
Yes.
Do you remember some of the other names that you almost went with?
No, I flushed them. I know one of them was 6 guns don't miss. That's our motto for B Company, for the AH Company. But we really wanted something that, hey, when you look at it and it's going to grab you, it has to grab you and get a hold of you first hook.
Right. Well, you did it. But let's get into your story, and we'll definitely talk more about the book later. When did you join, and what made you join?
1986 is when I joined, and at the time, and I was older. I was 25 years old when I joined the Army, but I needed to go somewhere in my lifetime, and I looked at the Army as a tool. I always wanted to fly, so that was the main reason. I didn't have a college degree, so the other services were out, and the Army has the Warrant Officer program. High school to flight school was their big selling point back then. And as a child of the 60s and 70s, I watched the Vietnam War on, one of the 2 or 3 channels we had, and I was infatuated with helicopters. My dad was in the Air Force for 30 years, so I was always, around the flight lines and watching jets and airplanes take off and land. So, yeah, it was planted into me, I think, at a very young age.
What, from high school to flight school, what all does that entail?
Well,
it sounds real quick, but something tells me it's not that quick of a process.
No, it's not, especially back then. We didn't have internet, and everything had to be hand carried, handwritten. And for me, I joined the Army. I was assigned to the 101st, the 327th Infantry, And I started the process once I got to Fort Campbell. And it probably took me 6-7 months as a soldier. And I know as a civilian, it would take them probably up to a year to get all their paperwork, packets, their flight physicals, testing. It's quite a process.
Yeah, you can look at the process two ways, and I always do hate a long process because I'm sure as you looked at it, it's probably unnecessary and long. But if you really think about it, it's also the very jumping off point to a weeding out process.
Absolutely, it is.
And I hate to almost give some sort of like positive light to a bad system. It's just bad and slow and painful. It doesn't have to be, but it is true. It's amazing how many people just won't put in a packet if it's too big of a chore.
Yep. They just
and
quit.
right off the bat, right off the bat, we don't need you.
Yes, it was easy,
Right.
Yeah, so that's how I went through that process to get to flight school.
Let's talk about flight school real quick. What all platforms are you flying in flight school at this time in the mid-'80s?
Well,
what do you start out with?
Yes, sir. We had the TH-55 for I think it was 4 days. And it was my class, the class ahead of me. They did away with that helicopter and transitioned us into the Huey.
Okay.
So we flew the Huey for contacts, what they call contact. You learn to hover and basic airmanship, and of course all your ground work. So it's a half a day in class and then half a day at the flight line and go learn your trade.
It's got to be surreal after you just told me about growing up looking at Vietnam. Huey, just the iconic platform for Vietnam.
Yes, sir.
And here you are, your mid-20s, going out there to fire up a Huey and fly it.
Yeah, it's one of those, I have to pinch myself. and yeah, it was a dream come true, and it's a lot of hard work also. You got to be totally committed.
Yeah.
And you keep building on it every day, every hour of flight time.
The only way I can kind of correlate it for me is kind of flying in the wind tunnel, like as far as like your beginning process of it.
Sure.
And they can take you through all the classroom stuff they want. They can lay you on the ground and tell you where your arms and legs are supposed to be. And then for some reason you jump into the wind tunnel and you forget almost the plan you had and how easy this kind of looked. Just nothing seems to be going right for a little bit.
No.
Is that kind of how flying is at the very beginning?
Exactly that way. Well, and you have to learn to hover.
Okay.
And in a helicopter, if you move one control, you have to move the other two. There's not, just one single control. So if I move the cyclic, I have to move the collective, and I have to move the pedal. If I move a collective, I got to move the other two to stay in stable flight. And of course, hovering, that was the unicorn in flight school.
Okay.
Once you hit that, it was just like, oh yeah, man, I got this down now. So.
Do you feel, looking back at the time, whether you were right where you needed to be, ahead of your class, or a little bit below, like when it came to that?
No, I felt I was where I needed to be and supposed to be at that time. Yeah. I mean, God put me there, so I don't argue with him. I have. I'm sure you have.
For sure.
He always wins. But no, I felt I was.
I feel like you had a handle on it. Like it was challenging, but it wasn't bigger than you.
But living on a farm and ranch, I learned to run. Actually, my IP said something about this to me one day, that because I could run a backhoe, I could run a dozer, so all that hand-eye coordination and foot coordination. And he says, "Hey, you run heavy equipment before?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I have." So it helped, I guess.
Yeah, this could be the most dangerous heavy equipment you've ever run in your life.
Yeah, he'd say, "Hey, just don't kill us." Okay, yes, sir.
I did have the first time that I jumped out of an airplane, and when I say airplane, for free fall, 12,500 feet, higher than I've ever been, not static line. And you really can't screw up static line.
Right.
As guys have tried,
Yeah.
and you can, but it's hard.
You can.
It's hard too.
Bad jump master.
When it comes to free fall, there's a lot of left and right limits that you can absolutely screw up.
Yeah.
And I was going up on the bird the first day. My instructor looked at me and goes, "You nervous?" And I looked him right in the eyes and lied to him and said, "Nope, I got this." I'm a future Delta Force operator. I just graduated OTC. This is just I'm getting ready to go to squadron. I can't let this guy know that a little jump out of an airplane is going to make me nervous. I couldn't have been more nervous.
Yes, sir.
And he looked at me and he said something that completely calmed my nerves to the best of anyone's ability. And he goes, "Well, that'd be pretty weird if you weren't nervous, but just in case you are, let me tell you something." Something tells me my eyes weren't as confident as my voice just was to him.
Yeah.
He goes, "I can't remember the amount of jumps." So he's like, "I got 10,000, 15,000, just an absurd amount of jumps." He goes, "I want to let you know there's nothing you can do in the air that I can't fix.
Okay.
I can fix anything you do in the air, and I can even make sure you get under canopy safely. Now after that, that's on you, but that's the easy part."
Yeah.
And after he told me that, I did. I walked up there and I was like, "He's right. Like, what am I nervous about? This guy can fix it." Did you have that? I tell that whole story. Do you have that same sort of confidence that at the end of the day, though, when you're there, you have a guy next to you that can take over the controls? And
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet. You have the confidence in that. You know, most of the IPs I had when I went through were all Vietnam vets and had, 12, 15,000 flight hours and multiple combat tours. And
Did you ever get to talk to them and hear their stories, or was it strictly?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sure did. And I think the next confidence builder was when we got to solo. So at a certain hour, when you get a certain amount of hours, then you and your stick buddy, everybody has a stick buddy, and you get to go solo. And I was scared, man.
It's all you now.
He was like, don't kill yourself, okay? So, but they get us trained up. They know we're ready for it when they put us up for our solo ride or any check ride.
How many hours do you get to log in there during the training, roughly?
It's like
before you go to your
120, I believe.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Depending on what aircraft you transitioned into, Black Hawk, Chinook, and they do it all different now.
That at the time when you went through, did you know what platform you were going to when you were in flight school?
No, not until you become a senior. So you're in your last phase of flight school, and you put in a dream sheet. And I wanted to fly guns. I wanted to, shoot things and blow stuff up. So I chose Cobras.
Okay. Was it top 3, top 5? What do they give you on your dream sheet? Do you remember how many options they give you?
3.
3? Do you remember what your 3 options were?
Cobra, Cobra, Cobra. I did.
Did you really?
But nobody wanted guns. They wanted the new Black Hawk, or they wanted scouts.
Yeah.
So, I did. I put Cobra 3 times. So.
And you got
I got Cobras.
I love that. I do. I hate telling people to do this, because if I have to tell you to do it, then it's not who you are. And it's not authentic. But if people will realize at a young age, go after what you want with a tenacity.
You bet.
And don't take no for an answer. Like, so many people are scared to ask for it.
They are.
Or to just
you need to
really
fulfill your dream.
Right. It's a weird balance, right? Because you're in this big system. Like, you're a cog in this massive system called the Army.
Yeah.
But people underestimate still, like, how much power that you can wield. Hate to say your own destiny, but it's true.
You bet.
And whether it's flying, and some of it's just a temporary no. Or for me, I was told that I couldn't go to SFAS to selection the first time.
Right.
And I fought him. And then I went to SFAS.
Yeah.
So, ask for what you want.
Yep.
Ask, how can I get it if you're told no?
Yep.
And if you're told no and have to go somewhere else, figure out, how do I get back to what I want?
How do I get around that one? And
that's right.
You just don't ever quit.
Right.
Never ever quit. And that reminds me of a story. So I had assessed for the 160th, and I was flying Apaches at the time.
Okay.
And DA put out a letter that says we're not going to release any Apache pilots to go to the 160th. And I was just like, oh, come on, man. I've worked my tail off to get here. I assessed, I got picked up. You know, I'm going to the best aviation unit in the world. Go be with the best soldiers and aviators and crew chiefs and armament guys in the world. So I came home. I was pretty upset. And I sat there that afternoon. I looked at the letter. So I got my dress greens. I put them in the back of my truck. I got my truck and I drove to 200 Stovall Street in Washington, D.C., where the warrant officer, where their headquarters is. Mm-hmm. So I drove all night, got there that morning, got out, put my uniform on, marched my butt upstairs to warrant officer branch. I sat down in front of the guy's desk, introduced myself, and I laid that piece of paper on his desk. I said, you have two choices, sir. Either you release me to go to the 160th or I'm getting out of the Army. And he said,
you lose me either
have you
way.
got any sleep lately? And I said, no. He said, you drove from Fort Campbell. I said, I left yesterday afternoon, sir, and here I am.
Yeah.
He said, I'll sign the paper.
Really?
Yep. Sure did.
Did you know at the time, did you mean it? Do you think you'd have got out?
Yes, I would have. Sure would have. I was at that point.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go fly with the best.
What a bold maneuver. But that's what it took.
That's what it took.
And what's the worst he could have said? What's the worst could have happened to you? He just tell you no?
Yeah, he said, he could have said
really?
no.
Yeah.
You know, we've put all this money into you to train you in the Apache helicopter.
But that's the worst he could have done was say no, which would have been the answer you already had. So no change by taking this bold step. But now you at least have a chance at yes.
Absolutely.
And you took a chance.
And I did. And I was like, I'm not taking no for an answer. I am not.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody thought I was crazy. Maybe I am a little bit, but and maybe probably on the 18-hour drive home, if he'd have said no, I probably said, okay, well, I'll try another way.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. There's so many. Life is a selection process. Mm-hmm. You have to get sometimes it's not an official selection process, but we kind of already talked about it. Mm-hmm. Putting in a big packet where everyone else is like, this is just too much work. Like, why isn't it easier? Just doing that. Right. The type of mentality you have to work in a unit like that has to be someone who's all in on this job and will drive all night to DC to just get a chance at that job. I mean,
yes, sir.
That's the life part of the selection process.
It is. It is.
It really is. I love that. I love that story.
We both worked hard to get where we got to, and you assess, we assess. I mean, it's a process, and again, the process is to weed out the weak. And, we don't want those that want to second guess or even think about quitting. No, we can't quit.
Here at the Tier 1 podcast, we're excited to have Tasty Gains as a sponsor, a company with values that aligns with ours. I take their products every day, 3 times a day. And if it wasn't a product that I didn't take personally and believe in, and a company with integrity, then they wouldn't be sponsors on this show. Creatine helps the body produce more ATP, which is an energy molecule that your entire body runs on. It helps improve your physical and mental performance in all aspects of life. Let's be honest, creatine powder sucks to take every day. With the creatine gummies, you can take them with you anywhere and they taste great. Every batch is third-party tested, so you know you're getting exactly what you pay for. Go to tastygains.com and enter the promo code Tier1, that's TIER, the number 1, and get 20% off your order. It happens everywhere. It happens in business, where people see someone successful and they just assume that it came easy to them because all they see is the end product, and they don't see what it took to make that. The same thing happens in the military. I think people see a other people at a certain level and just assume it was easy for them. And they look at them like, well, I've already been told no. The process isn't easy for me.
Right.
I'm sure it was easy for them.
Yeah.
They don't see how hard you fought to get there. They didn't see all the hours that you put in of extra training, honing your craft to get an opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
No one has an easy path to greatness.
No, nobody does. Hard work will set you free.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of the hard work it took to get there, were you already thinking at any degree? Well, I can actually take a step back even more than this. Did you know about the 160th by the time you got to your first unit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did. I actually, when I was enlisted at Campbell, we'd see the little black helicopters flying around, and we'd kind of poke and ask questions, and platoon sergeant say, shut the hell up. They're not, you don't see those. They're not there.
Right.
And, but a good friend of mine was in the unit in B Company, Jerry Harp, and we cowboyed together and roped together, and so I knew about the unit. And
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Was it always something that you knew you were going to work towards
Yes,
from
sir.
the beginning?
Absolutely.
Love that.
From day one.
Even though you gotta, I love the idea of it because again, there's just commonality between very different jobs, but very similar people do those jobs. I remember being in the Q course, not even a Green Beret yet. Part of my mind was already thinking, I wonder what the next level is. Like, I wonder if I could go to Delta Force.
Yeah.
And of course, I kind of suppressed that because I kind of had to, because it's crazy to even think about Delta Force and you haven't even put your Green Beret on yet.
Yes, sir.
And I don't think I've said that out loud very many times.
Yeah.
But it's funny here you are as well as a new guy already been like,
That's where I
let
wanna
me
be.
think about what that's where I want to go.
Yes, sir.
But I think Kyle Morgan said to me the other day, and it's just a funny saying: if you have no destination, if you have no plans, any road will take you there.
Right.
So it's not a bad thing to have lofty goals because that's how you can get on the right road
Yes,
to get
you
to
can.
that destination.
You bet. Whatever it takes to get there.
Yeah.
So
what'd you fly at first when you got to the 101st?
Apaches. Well, when I finished flight school in 1990, March of 90, I went to South Korea. I flew Cobras, AH-1 for one tour there. And then I came back and I already had an Apache transition and back to Fort Campbell. So I flew first to the 101st there at Campbell for about 2.5 years before I went and assessed.
And when did you assess?
93.
93?
Yes, sir.
When looking to assess to go to that unit, most special operation units have minimums that they're looking for before you can go over.
Yes, sir.
Did you know the minimums and you're working towards that?
Yes.
What are those minimums?
So then they wanted you to have 1,000 hours of flight time and 100 hours of night vision goggles. Now, that was a bit of a problem for me because I only had like 680 hours, but I had over 200 hours of night vision goggles as a W1.
Okay.
So they weighed that. It's like, well, okay. But they took a chance on Greg Coker because I didn't quite meet one standard, but I had over double of the higher standard. And it takes some time. It's generally mid-level CW2 before you can get 1,000 hours of flight time, depending on your aircraft.
Now I got to ask you a different question because I love this. The audacity you've had this whole time. You know you don't meet the minimum standards.
No.
So why would you walk over there without meeting the minimum standards? It's a rhetorical question. I know the answer to it, but why did you walk over there not meeting the minimum standards?
I knew I was prepared.
Love it.
Yeah, I knew I was prepared.
Yeah.
And I'd worked. Again, I had friends that were in the unit, and they wouldn't tell me what I had to do for the assessment, but, they were like, hey, you might want to work on this, work on that, navigation, hitting your targets. I mean, the standards at the unit are plus or minus 30 seconds, and those aren't given for anything. That's the standard.
Yeah.
So I worked on navigating cross country at night with night vision goggles, hitting checkpoints at that time and then hitting my target at plus or minus 30 seconds.
Now, with hours being the limitation and knowing that's what you need more of,
Right.
I'm just unfamiliar with the aviation side of the house, other than being a passenger for you guys. A lot of experience there.
Yes, sir.
Does the regular military give you the ability to get more hours, or is it like a set hours and that's kind of all you get?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So again, it depends on your airframe. Okay. So the gun guys, I think our minimums were like 140 hours per year. You had to fly 140 hours per year. Whereas the Black Hawk or the 58 guys, theirs were like 250 hours a year. So they got to fly more because it costs less to run that platform.
Okay.
Apache costs a heck of a lot more than an OH-58.
Yeah.
And then it depends on what unit you're in and your command culture. I was fortunate because my commanders were always go fly, 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 fly.
Nice.
So I had that opportunity to do that. Yeah. So that's a good question. I hadn't thought about that in a long time.
And we're talking early 90s. Mm-hmm. What was the night vision capabilities? I mean, even when the GWAT started, the technology really started,
yes.
Getting implemented then and getting better and better. There wasn't, it was still getting better, but at a slower rate back then because we didn't have anything forcing us to get better.
Right.
What type of night vision were you flying with back then?
In flight school, when I did the Cobra transition, we flew with full face 5s. So, and then somebody cut them away, but it was crazy because you'd have to focus one tube inside and then focus the other tube so you could see outside.
Yep.
And that's what we did, and you learned to do it.
Yeah.
And then as you progressed, we did have Ambus when I was in Korea. They had just gotten the dual tube aviator night vision goggles. I don't remember what gen they were, probably Gen 1s and Omni 1 or 2s. And when I got to Campbell, we had Ambus in the Apache also. So, and in the Apache, you fly with a FLIR, so you put the little monocle over your eye, front seat and back seat guy.
Yeah.
And then we also had the option, at the time of Lieutenant Colonel Cody, future 4-star general, but he was our commander, and he really pushed night vision goggles, front seat, back seat, in case something went down, boom, pop your goggles down and use those. So,
as the years went, and the technology got better, did the limitations of illumination and what you were able to fly with, did it change, or has it kind of always been the same? What was your illumination limitations when you were in the 101st flying those?
There were minimums, and gosh, I can't remember. The moon had to be a certain degree above the horizon and a certain I think it was 23% illum was the min, something like that.
Yeah, because and not everyone realizes this, but night vision goggles, as magical as they are, they're not complete magic. They need illumination. They amplify the small amount of light that's
cultural lighting, starlight.
That's right.
But if you have an overcast sky, now you don't have anything.
Right. It doesn't turn night vision from nothing into night vision unless you bring it with IR illumination. Yeah. But it is amplifying the illumination that is there. So it needs some illumination to amplify. And of course the older generations just they needed a little bit more a little more illumination to help them out.
8-cell flashlight.
Or else it just looked like a fuzzy TV channel.
That was it, man. That was it. You could make out the horizon, okay, this is good. Okay.
Do you sometimes look back at the end of your career flying with amazing night vision technology and look back at the beginning and go, that was dangerous, or how did we ever do that?
That was crazy, man. Crazy. And then I think about the guys in Vietnam that flew Hueys at night with no night vision.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, yeah, they did it.
Yeah.
You know, so
And they did it. And they did it.
We did.
So you end up going over to the 160th in 93. You said February of 93, correct?
Yes, sir. That's when I assessed. And then I started Green Platoon in, I want to say June, July. Yeah, it's pretty fast. Flash to bang, because I was right there at Campbell.
And I'm always respectful of selections as we should be. But I still like to talk generally about them.
Sure.
That selection process is more of a physical and mental selection.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes,
you're not flying anything just yet.
Well, for the assessment.
For the assessment.
Yeah, you fly a route at the end of that week. They give you a mission, they give you a target, and then they give you, I think, 24, 36 hours to plan it. And then that's the last thing you do is go fly your mission.
Were you prepared or aware how physical the selection?
It was very physical.
Was going to be.
It was mentally challenging.
Yeah.
No watches. Okay, we're going to do a PT test. Okay, well, where am I? You don't know. You don't know how many push-ups you're supposed to do. There's no timers. There's no nothing. Okay, we're going to go do a ruck march, road march. Well, where am I going? Well, don't worry about it. Just on to the next one. And
that's always a constant theme through special operations selections, as it should be, that the unknown part of it.
Yes,
and it's always amazing to me, and it might be just because I'm too simple sometimes, that it never bothered me. It never bothered me. But the amount that would bother some people, they had to know.
Oh, yes.
They had to know how far they were going. They had to know
their time.
Right. They just they had to work in that known.
Yes, sir.
And to me, it was just like, all right, I'll just go that way.
Yeah.
I'll
just push myself as hard as I can.
They'll tell me when to stop.
Out
they're like, well, when are we going to stop?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whenever they tell us to stop, it didn't bother me at all. But it is crazy how much that affects certain people.
It does.
And it's a real small part of it. But until you go through it, it's hard to replicate that and tell someone, hey, it's unknown distance. And people hear that and they're like, okay, so well. Until you're doing it, you may think differently about it. When you're really tired, you don't know how much further you got to go.
Yeah, just keep picking them up, putting them down,
and you don't know how to pace yourself.
Not a clue.
You just have no. So you do the best you can with the
just
little you know.
Don't quit.
Just don't quit.
That's all they're looking for, man. Don't quit. I remember, we do this. We had to do a swim test, and last thing I remember at the end was the safety diver's hand coming to grab me. Yeah, I was done. I was just started sinking. I guess I blacked out.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, and they don't tell if you're a go or no go at any event.
Right.
And then psychological tests, MMPIs, and you spend a lot of time with the psych and talking to him and, gosh, did I answer that right? Or did I,
You're bringing up memories of things I haven't thought of in a while. The psych test, again, it didn't bother me a whole lot, but just having other people just start reanalyzing their questions, really messing with. Oh, should I said that? What if they looked at that? That's not how I meant it. I don't know how they took that answer.
Yes, sir.
It's just again, it's a weird process to go through.
It is,
and it gives you plenty. And it works, and it gives you plenty of opportunity to what we call self-assess and go.
Yes,
because naturally you just want to. Most people, unless you're a narcissist, just your brain can start going towards the negative.
Yes, it can. Very rapidly. Very rapidly.
Yeah, and you have to.
And you just got to fight through it.
That's right.
You just got to fight through it.
Absolutely. How long was Green Team or Green Platoon?
Green Platoon for the AHs like 8 months. Yes, or 8 months. Because we have to. The other guys are shorter, the Black Hawk and the Chinook, and then the MH6 little birds. Because we have to learn to shoot, go to the range, ballistics, all the weapon systems. So ours is a little bit longer, and we're smarter. So,
Obviously.
Yeah.
At what point did you know that was the platform you were going to get to fly? For
I did not know. It's always needs of the Army or needs of the unit. And on my board, the very last thing you do is your board.
Okay.
And put your Class A's on, report to the board and the colonel, and your IP's in there, the shrink's there. Some guys you'd never seen before in your life. They're all sitting there looking at you, and they asked me, it was like, well, Mr. Coker, what do you want to fly? And I said, sir, I'll fly hot air balloons if that's what you want me to fly. That's a true answer.
Okay.
And, but I said, I'm a gun guy. I want to go to B Company and fly A6s.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What a difference it makes. Because earlier you had your dream sheet and you knew exactly what you wanted to fly. But it really makes a difference when you have a job and it's a dream job and you know that's where you want to be. People will do anything to work with that caliber of people.
Yes, sir. They will.
You'd have flown a hot air balloon just to be a part of it.
Yes.
And that's the magic of it.
Be a member of the unit, and you're going to go fight with the best in the world. So
at the same time, I really wanted to know both the year and the month, because 93 was a tough year for those guys.
Yes.
And would that have been towards the end of Green Platoon when the Black Hawk Down incident happened? Were you still in training?
It was. Yeah, we were in Green Platoon. I can remember watching them leave, taking off, going to Somalia, and then I remember seeing the planes come back and bringing the guys back. It was October 5th or 6th, I think. Yeah. And then going to the award ceremony. Yeah. Those guys.
What a drastic difference, because you see them going off to Somalia to do cool things.
Yes, sir.
And you're like, this is why I signed up. No one else is going to go do these missions. The 160th is still doing things. This is why I'm here. But then a short time later, get to find out the reality of those cool missions. It's a very risky job.
Very, very risky. But I think that's some of the draw why we go where we go or do what we do.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
I know so.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story that I read in Charlie Beckwith's book, Delta Force. And when he was working inside the Mekong Delta, they were trying to get Green Berets to do a recon mission, but he knew they were going to send people further than they normally would be. They knew they'd be hanging things out there, so he wanted to run a selection for this group of people.
Huh. And
they ended up posting a flyer that says wanted Green Berets for special missions, Valor Awards, or body bags.
Oh,
it was something very similar to that.
Oh,
and one of the guys came up to him and says, "That's a horrible recruiting campaign. No one's going to volunteer for that." And they weren't running a selection. They just needed people to volunteer for it. They had so many people volunteer for it that they had to run a selection.
No kidding.
Because that's as crazy
that's
as
the
it
draw.
sounds. That is the draw. It's what men want. They want to be tested.
We want to be challenged.
They want to be challenged. They know the danger of it, and whether it be for the better or not, I think at the end of the day, we all tell ourselves it's a possibility, it's a risk, but it won't happen to me.
You bet. Yeah.
and it's a lie.
That's a lie.
And it's a lie.
Yeah.
But it's
you'll
what
make God laugh too.
But it's what you got to tell yourself
to
do it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So absolutely, that is an ironic part of the draw.
Yeah.
To it.
Yeah, it's always interested me. You know what?
If you've ever been to any of my tactical training classes, then you know how adamant I am about the use of white light and the importance of a quality, high-powered tactical light. That's why I use cloud defensive tac lights. You can't hit what you can't see, and neither can the bad guys. Clearly identify your target and simultaneously overwhelm his vision with hundreds and even thousands of lumens. Get serious about defending yourself and your family. Go to clouddefensive.com and use promo code Tier1 to get 30% off your order. That's right, 30%. You won't find a better light than this, and you won't find a better deal than this.
And our docs, our psychiatrists, they called us A+ personalities. You know, there's A personality, B.
Yeah.
They're like, you guys are A+ personalities. You sit on the fence and of being crazy and not crazy. You know?
Yeah.
So,
You do. You have to be a little bit crazy to do that job
in a good way.
I've heard it described a couple different ways, and I don't know if I completely agree with any of it, but I understand what they're getting at. I've heard people describe it as you kind of got to be like a 49% criminal to do it, like something that's just not right with you. But in the day, you're more good than you are bad.
Yeah.
And so you'll hopefully always do the right thing.
You bet.
You have to be a little crazy. The A+ personality which is what makes guys like you great. It's your biggest asset, and it's also your biggest detriment.
Yes.
Because we have a hard time deciphering what we're going to go all into.
Right.
We have to go into all into everything.
Everything.
Everything
There's
we
no
do.
little bit.
Whether that be
There's no
something good.
99%.
Yeah, that's right. Whether it be good, whether it be bad, it's hard to reel back anything in your life.
Yeah. And it's about the guy on your left and right too. Your buddies, your tribe.
That's what it's all about.
All about.
When you finally make it, in fact, I actually want to talk about training just for a little bit.
Yeah.
You had twice as many night hours as you needed.
Mm-hmm.
You're a little bit, fresh as far as you're not a seasoned like senior aviator, but you're going out for this.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at the training? Do you think you were mentally prepared for the training they're going to put you in? Because obviously they're going to put you in some situations that are going to prove that you are the best pilot. So when you're going through that training, was there a point you're like, I had no idea they would ask me to do this in a helicopter?
Oh yeah,
or that I could do this in a helicopter?
Yes. You bet, and we did it safely.
Yeah,
your IP that you're always flying with. Yeah, I mean, there were several nights I'm like, man, I don't know if I can do this or not. Here's an example. We were sitting there one night at shock pad, getting ready to take off, go do our route, and I was flying with legendary Randall Jones. And I mean, here came a thunderstorm like you'd never seen. It was lightning, the wind was blowing, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, is this a test? Does he want me to say, we're going back to the airfield? Or do I say, hey, we're going to take off? Because I'm watching the clock, and my takeoff time's coming up.
Okay.
And so Randy looks at his knees, do this right here. He's like, well, what do you want to do? I said, let's go hit the target. He goes, okay. And I said, and lightning hit. I don't know. I mean, like right there. He goes, which way are you going to go? I said, I'm headed for where that lightning hit. He goes, what? I said, yeah, it never hits the same place twice. He's like, you're a nut, boy. He said, go. I said, yes, sir. Let's go.
Sound logic.
Yep.
Sound logic.
Yep. Yeah, that was a fun night.
Was there anything in those like the pass or fail events that you had to do that you feel like were the most challenging, whether it being like lip landing or like certain aspects to it, like that is because if you're thinking about it, I don't know if they do or not because I don't know how many lip landings you were doing on the 101st.
None. Never even heard of it.
In an Apache. As a little bird pilot, it was the gun side, but were you still doing lip landings as a little bird pilot?
Yeah, we would. Yes, sir. They'd take us and teach us how to do all kind of challenging landings, and I mean we'd be up Mach 4 NVGs and doing run-on landings in a field on a slope. So, but it was just to give us confidence that we, the machine will do it. But we have to build our confidence and tell
Yeah.
Greg Coker he can do it.
Yeah.
You bet.
It's crazy when you start working with you guys. We have the best helicopters. We have the best technology. But at the end of the day, just like us, you guys are the master of the basics.
Mm-hmm.
You're a master of the basics.
Yes, sir.
And that includes map reading,
Yep.
map navigation, right?
Yep. Reading terrain, winds, all the things that go with it.
How about putting a grease pencil on your windshield for,
Yes, sir.
for making your gun runs?
That's a fact.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
That's just
A grease pencil on your windshield.
grease pencil mark. That's our call our pipper, and that's what we use to aim the helicopter.
Yeah.
And
And effective.
It's extremely effective. And my tenure there, man, we tried all kind of whiz bang gizmos and sights, but Fred Horsley summed it up one day. He said, the human brain is the fastest computer in the world. And you sit there and you're like, well, Fred's right. But I'd have out, like I'd invite, you probably know these guys like Robbie Latham, Michael Voigt, Benny Cooley, come out and do training for us. Mm-hmm. And I was a competitive shooter also. And I'd take them to the aircraft, and then I'd take them out to the range. I always made sure we had a range day and watch a shoot. And Jerry Barnhart, he'd sit in that helicopter, and you could see him, it would not calculate. Ed, he's like, I don't see how you guys do this. We do it, man. I can put a rocket in a window 600 meters away.
You can. Yeah.
So it's just a grease pencil.
It's
pretty cool.
I know. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. With I almost want to say the reset that Black Hawk Down, the Battle of Mogadishu did for all of us. It's hard to, and I only know this from talking to older guys.
Sure.
It's not that we weren't prepared for war. You're at a Tier 1 unit. You are prepared for it, but there's nothing like the reality of doing it. And there's nothing about the reality of something going wrong,
right,
to remind you we're not bulletproof,
right,
and things can go wrong. Even though you just got there, how long do you think or how do you think that affected the culture of the unit, or any changes or reactions that might have come from it, or is it just?
Sir. Yeah, there were a lot of changes, and of course, we were focused on training, and Green Platoon, we're completely separate from the regiment. But we'd get bits and pieces. Our IPs, they're retired B company guys that stay on as contractors, so we can keep that continuity within the regiment for years and years and years. And it's probably like Green or Delta, but yeah, and we get bits and pieces, and then start to see implementation of, tactics or procedures, things like that. But, we're at that, we're just focused. I mean, we're working 18, 19 hours a day, flying every night, and just doing what you got to do to.
Yeah. And almost a decade goes by between our next truly major conflict.
Yes, sir.
And that's when the GWAT started. So
9/11.
There was plenty of time for us to almost get into, I'd almost call it a lull or a little bit of complacency. And I don't think at the time we would have looked at ourselves and said we were being complacent. I think that's something we do looking back and said, I'm not sure we were completely ready as we could have been or should have been.
Yeah. From my point, that, man, we trained hard. I mean, we trained and trained and trained all the time. I averaged 292 days a year, TDY.
Wow.
So,
and you don't know where the next war is. No. That's also a part of the problem. It's easy to look back, and say that, but again, when you're in it, you're doing your best. With all that training hours. How much was dedicated, or is there ever a dedication to say, hey, let's let's go out to the desert. Let's make sure we can operate in sandy environments as well.
You bet.
There's plenty of that.
Yes, desert, urban, mountains, over water. We did a lot of over water, and I just hate ships, by the way. I don't like those things. And I asked, I think it was Fred one time, I'm like, why do we do so much over water training? He said, well, 70%, he had numbers, 70% of the world's population is within 300 miles of a shoreline. Thought about that. Okay, makes sense. So
I'll tell you what.
yeah, urban. Yeah, we go and train in all the environments. Have to, because everyone's different. Everyone, urban's different than desert or mountains.
I'm assuming you guys did some sort of desert type training when you were in Green Platoon.
Yes.
So it wouldn't be
desert, mountain, over water.
All right, you don't want to be operational the first time you deal with a brownout.
No, sure. Right. Oh, let's go do 10 brownout landings. Yeehaw. Zero loom.
That is something that was always, I feel like I took for granted at the beginning, whether it be on an ODA or even at the beginning of my unit time. You're so hyper focused on what's in front of you. You don't have time to think about a bigger picture.
No.
But at some point in my career, I remember going into a brownout and thinking, I wonder how they're doing. How are they dealing with this up here? Because some of those brownouts start so early, and they're so
the Hawks,
thick.
they'll start at 100 feet.
And they're
Chinook,
so
120
thick.
feet.
And certain landings, it's not just, you can brown out in a place that's really close to a building. So it's not like it's just, be one thing to just glide it in, stay on that path in an open desert. That's going to work itself out. But when you have obstacles around you and you're in that brownout, I mean, from up there, you're responsible for all of us.
The guys on the X.
Exactly.
They're going to the door.
Right.
You can't land for 200 meters away like the Air Force. Sorry.
How is it that you deal with that, or with the brownout, like as that's happening and you can't see anything? What's going through your mind as a pilot?
Yeah, you pick a spot. Okay, once you get set up for your approach. You get 100 feet, 60 knots, and you just start a gradual slow. You just slow down. You pick a spot, and I'd pick like at our FARPs, so our forward arming refueling points. We'd have an IR chem out there. So, boom, there's your object. I mean, a rock or a group of grass. I mean, I've had to pick that out. Well, that's what I'm flying to. And as you look in closer to the aircraft, there'll be a bubble in the little bird where you can see. And I'd just sit there and I'd just lock onto that, whatever that was down there, and just fly the aircraft right to it. Yeah. And there's just a little bit of a bubble where you can see, but once you touch down, it engulfs everything. That dust. You've been on them.
Oh yeah. And any uncomfortable moments in training where something could have gone really wrong that you had to adjust for? Because like in Green Platoon, you're getting pushed, which means,
and you're new to the aircraft. You've never flown a helicopter.
Right. It almost seems like a recipe for something to go
for disaster.
Disaster.
I mean, but fast.
But again, I mean, it's so different, but it's so similar with our OTC. You're asking guys to do hostage rescue, CQB at speeds they may not be comfortable with, using explosives all the time.
Yes,
you're pushing these guys really hard, and you have to.
Yes.
And
it's overhead shooting, danger close.
And it's a recipe for disaster. And we've had training incidents. But I think it was Andy Stumpf that said it. He said, people aren't going to want to hear this, but training incidents, I'm going to paraphrase them, and guys even dying in training, as horrible as it is, it's a necessity.
Yeah.
It's a necessity because that's almost the only way you war. Is that's how you've pushed it to the limits, and that you're ready for the real thing. I know that's a really hard thing, I think, for people to hear, but for guys like us that have been in it, for him to say that, I get it.
Yes.
I get what he means by that.
Me too.
So did you guys have any incidents during training or close calls for you personally?
No, well, I think, yes, sir. It was up in the mountains, mountain flying, or, flying up at 10, 12,000 feet in that helicopter. Well, you have a very small window of performance measures, okay? So if you get too slow, you'll start settling with power. If you get too fast, you get into retreating blade stall. So those are two things that you don't want to happen. So, I'm talking 15-knot window that you have to stay at that airspeed, or you're going to sink and crash into the mountain. In retreating blade stall, you'll lose control of the aircraft. So it pitches up, rolls left. And I got into that one night, and luckily I could just turn, fly down the mountain, fly out of it. So the lesson learned, I didn't do it again.
Lesson learned, but something tells me you still had to make that landing. And so
Yes,
after doing that, you're like, all right, we'll go back up and do it right this time.
Yeah.
Not the confidence you want.
No. Start your approach and fly it to the ground.
Yeah. But there's another aspect of that. And obviously you've proven like you're mentally durable. Mm-hmm. And when you doing things wrong isn't the worst thing. No. It's just not. People are going to make mistakes, and you're going to make mistakes in training. And for you, I'd imagine, just talking to you for a little bit, I already know what you wanted to do with that second approach. When other people might be questioning themselves, like, well, maybe I'm not good enough to do this. I already did it wrong once. I got away with one. But what do you if you could remember? What do you think? I could almost tell you what it was, but what do you think your mindset was going back into it, having to do it, basically dealing with that failure and having to get back into it?
Yeah, I'm going to succeed. There's no gray area here. I've got to put this machine on the ground,
right?
And I got to do it to standard.
Yeah, so. I know what wrong looks like. I won't do that again.
I won't do that again.
I won't do that again.
No.
Give me another opportunity.
Yeah, your heart rate's about 160.
Yeah. Give me another opportunity, and I'll prove to you that I can do this.
You bet. Yep.
Yeah.
I wanted to prove to. I think I was flying with old Russ. Yeah. He was like, "Okay, let's do it. I know you can do it." I said, "Yes, sir. Let's go."
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I do. I love that.
Just don't quit.
Yeah, and it's just a reoccurring theme.
Yeah, and training.
You guys should probably put it in your motto.
Yeah, not Stalker, don't quit. And SDQ, they hit it. They nailed it.
They nailed it,
guys.
Absolutely.
In training too, like in B Company and then ACO, the two Little Bird companies, there's only at any one time, 15, 16 of us. FMQ, fully mission qualified. Yep. And there's 3 squadrons at Delta. There's 3 battalions of the Rangers. Mm-hmm. So how do you manage, our little bitty company, but we still have to go do gun smokes, fixed wing bilats, rotary wing bilats, come train with you guys, do a rut or, whatever.
And as we get into the GWAT, what you just said is going to be your guys' biggest blessing and biggest curse at the same time. How do you service all of those customers? There's only a few of you.
Yeah, people don't realize that, Brent.
Right.
I don't think they do.
You think we're small?
Yeah.
wait till you see who supports us.
Yes,
and for the next 20 years, what we're about to ask of those pilots to help out.
And you could see it. I remember I went to Kyle Lamb's retirement out at the unit, and a couple of us came out for that, and we were sitting there, and the commander, he gets up at the podium, and he starts looking across the room, and he says, "I see a lot of tired men out there." He did.
Yeah.
And we were, but what are you going to do? Quit? No. I want to go back and shoot more bad guys.
Yeah. I know. I just said a little bit earlier, what also, what's one of our greatest strengths is one of our greatest weaknesses or detriments. Yeah. And that's towards that A+ personality, but it's also towards that we will run ourselves to the ground.
Yes.
And happily do it.
We don't know when to say no.
And a little bit of a break could go a long way in longevity and recouping that, resetting it, and being better, coming back better. But that requires a break, and you won't do it.
It does. And that was, to me, looking back, and when GWAT started, in 01 was, well, for the leadership, how are they going to manage this? Because we weren't set up to do long-term operations. We were set up to go hit the target and come home. Now we're talking about months and years of operations. So, my hat was off to them. They did the best they could do with what they had, what we had. So,
now I'd gotten a glimpse at the 160th as a Green Beret, and let me tell you, anytime a 160th bird picks you up in SF, it's still just one of those moments. Like, this is special.
Sure.
Like, it makes you, because you don't always get the 160th in SF. But when you do get them, you're like, this is awesome. Yeah. These guys are the best. It makes you feel special. You're just in awe. You're in awe of those men that you know for a fact are the best in the world at what they do.
You bet.
Now, when you go to the unit, it's a little bit different, because just the mentality is, yes, that's who I expect. That's who I expect to fly me.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you went to the unit to work with Delta Force guys, and you're like, is that a little bit of a I made it moment? We're like, I'm actually here with the Delta Force.
Oh yes, sir.
Is it?
Yeah, I remember it like it was last week.
I do. That's awesome.
Because being the new guy, and we had a Gunsmoke with C Squadron. Okay. And, at that time, C was in Mogadishu, so, man, they held the AHs in very high regard, because those boys, they flew and flew and flew, to cover them and shoot for them. And so that was kind of cool. And then, we have to do the range brief and go over, call for fire stuff. God bless the guys, because they're like, man, we heard this like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
They just shut up, let's go shoot.
Yeah.
But you land at that compound, and you're like, wow, man, we work our tails off our whole life just to be mediocre. And I walked among giants. I did. I'd ask myself all the time, man, how did I get here? How did I stay? But I loved my job, and I loved the guys that I worked with.
What's always funny is guys like you will say things like that. I worked among giants. Yeah. I worked with the best. But no one ever claims to be the giant, because the next guy will say, I worked with giants. And I think it's just a testament to, now don't get me wrong, if I pressed you, you'd say, well, yeah, I personally was one of the best in the world at my job. But I'd have to press you,
yes,
really about that.
We're humble.
But you'd be really quick to say the 160th, the unit I was in, the we. You'll say we were the best in the world, bar none, not even close at what we do. Yep. And it's a testament to the type of man that you would kind of think that it's, even though we're A-type personalities, and I think other times A-type personalities can be a little bit boastful. They can be a little bit, some people think of us as prima donnas. Sure. Whatever you think of what that type of person is, it's not, because they are the best in the world at what they do. And somehow we've found a way to also recruit or culturally be sure everyone stays fairly humble.
You bet.
And that's really unique. That's hard to do.
Unique. Very much.
It doesn't happen. It rarely happens in sports. It really rarely happens in any other venue. But the very top
tip of the spear.
Tip of the spear, special operations. You have the best in the world that will only refer to the team as the best in the world.
Yep. You bet.
I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and on that trip, I wanted to say, I was trying to remember, I was talking to John Horrigan, Bob's twin brother. He's a knife maker too. And they were both Rangers. But I think it was Bob after I finished my brief, any questions, they're like, no, let's go. And there was a car. It was probably, 30 meters in front of the start fire line, OP-12.
Okay.
And he goes, hey, I bet you can't put a rocket even close to that car. And I looked at him, I said, I'll put a rocket up a Black Angus's bull's ass if that's where you want it. And man, they're like, okay, he's in. He's, and they were like, where are you from? You goofy talking, blah, blah, blah. I said, Texas, But anyway, so we got in, cranked up. I don't remember who I was flying with, but, I was a new guy. And we were in lead, and call for fire was car, danger close.
Yeah.
And the guy looked at me and said, don't screw this up. No. And I put that rocket right in the hood of that car, man. That thing went, I don't know, 10, 15 foot in the air.
After saying that, you got to hit it.
Yo, man, I was like, this is where I make it or break it with, the best in the world.
Yeah.
So don't mess it up.
Although, people are just going to say, well, you just talked about how humble you were. This guy just said, I'll put this lady where you want, up a cow's butt, which is completely different, which is most guys you'll meet, if you didn't know any better, you wouldn't know.
Right.
But when it's closed off and it's just us, you're going to have some of the best trash talking.
Oh, yes.
And it's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Right.
It's hilarious. Have you ever, George did a book of cartoons, George Hand. Have you ever seen it?
Yes.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's all the faux pas it's funny.
So, and we still do that. So when you get back from a training event, and every training event, something goes wrong. Someone says something stupid. There's always something to laugh at.
Then comes the debrief.
And there's a cartoon book of historically in a cartoon way, annotating that. And and after, whether you were there or not, just being in that job long enough, you understand.
You've heard the story.
You either heard the story or you know why that's funny. Yes, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah.
When you guys ended up going to the GWAT, and you just said, hey, this is going to be a logistical nightmare for what we're set up to be. And when I interview Tier 1 guys, who ended up doing amazing things, something I think I knew, I just didn't know to the extent, is at the very beginning of the GWAT was difficult for Tier 1 because we go after targets. We didn't, no one knew enough to say, hey, here's a target. So ODAs were having, that was the place to be at the beginning.
Yes,
they were there with a partner force, just getting it on.
Fifth group is up north, just having a ball.
Right. Just having the time
I knew a lot of those guys
of their life. And,
Tony Pryor, Don Alexander, all
and
those.
At least on the assaulter
guys.
side, of course, you guys supported them too at the beginning of the war, which is something that, again, I'm jealous about. We'll get to that here in a second, because we have to wait our turn, sometimes for a big mission or, right place, right time sometimes.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But not you guys. You guys are always a part of every big
There's
mission.
no question, man.
But yeah, you're the only game in town when it comes to transporting America's finest.
Yep.
But I digress. We'll get to that. But there was a lot of Tier 1 assaulters just waiting on the word go. And but there were also some really cool stories that you guys did at the beginning of the GWAT. And it's been talked about. It was in the book Relentless Strike.
Yes.
But you guys just putting little birds in the back of C-130s, landing in the middle of nowhere, taking off, hitting your own targets.
Yes, sir.
That's
there was no ROE.
Just crazy.
Crazy
stuff. Yeah.
They're like, go shoot everything. Roger that.
There's and even me, I don't always know exactly what's true and what's has turned into a fish story, but
embellishment,
if you will.
I've been accused of that.
The guys go in Winchester on those missions, and then just like, you know what? I still got my rifle up here. I'm going to take a few more rounds and just go to go to my pistol or my rifle, and and still get some.
Yes, sir.
But something tells you those, even though I question because I don't really know, wasn't there, but I hear that, I'm like, yeah, I can see them doing that.
Yeah.
I can see those boys doing that because they've done it before. They've done it before. They will have do that same thing later on.
Yes, sir.
Protecting the boys.
You bet.
And even dropping grenades.
Yeah, might
out
have
of
dropped one or
helicopters.
two. Well, and General Cody saw it on the big screen because we had an asset overhead.
Yeah.
And he was in the talk. He goes, or somebody said, what are those flashes? And one of the Delta Sergeant Majors said, oh, those are grenades. They said Gerald Cody almost lost his mind. And the story is in the book, but yeah, the Sergeant Major says, that's B Company, sir. They just want to kill some shit. They're Winchester.
Right.
You
That's
know?
right. Yeah. Well, you're never fully Winchester as long as you got, until all your
M4,
grenades are gone.
we got grenades. So.
Turns into a bombing mission.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It does. Actually, one of the Delta, I think he's a breacher. He came over the net one night and says, hey, he'd done the math. He said, go to 648 feet. That'll give you a 5-foot air burst or something like that. You know, we're like, okay,
Right.
let's try it. You know,
Oh, that's hilarious.
it was funny.
I love it. How did you? I want to say enjoy, but but I will because you're a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
In a good way. Mm-hmm. How did you enjoy the beginning rotations of Afghanistan?
Well, you know, we spent 8 years training, day after day after day. You know, it's like a professional football player. He goes to practice every day.
Well,
Doesn't get to play the game, I guess is my analogy.
it's a great analogy.
And I mean, yeah, we were excited. I was excited. I was extremely excited because I wanted to put that training to the test. I wanted to put Greg Coker to the test.
Right.
And, you know, God put me here. It says in Psalm, when we're being knitted in our mother's womb, our path is already laid out. It's done. And we're just following orders the rest of our lives. But yeah, I was excited, man. I wanted to go get some. Everybody was pretty angry at that time. B Squadron was, they went forward, and then 375 Rangers. So yeah, I was scared to death. Any man says he isn't, a liar.
Yeah.
And what did John Wayne say about courage? Courage is being scared to death, but saddling up anyway.
That's right. Absolutely.
But yeah, I was prepared. I was confident in the guys I flew with and my duties. And I spent the very first part on an AC-130 setting the conditions for the assault on 19 October for Gecko and Rhino. So that was my mission. Every other night we'd go up and we'd shoot till we were Winchester every night.
Yeah. In fact, I mean, it was a, I don't know if it had to be taken, but that mission, Gecko, which I ended up spending some time there as a fire base,
wow,
which is really weird. Later on, learning at the unit, that was one of the units, if not one of the unit's first targets.
First target.
It was their first target.
Yes, sir.
And what a I don't know, weird foreshadowing that I'm out of place. That my future job was their first hit in Afghanistan. But it ended up being a dry hole and a little bit of a know-nothing mission to some. You don't know that until you go.
Yeah, you don't.
But the logistics of that mission was a Tier 1 mission.
It was crazy, man. This is the longest air assault in history. It's over 1,000 miles off the ship.
Is that what did it launch off of a ship? I couldn't remember if it was K2 or a ship. Yeah, I do remember the guys that were on that talk about how most of their legs didn't work when it came time to get off the birds, or about the 5 minutes out they start wrestling, trying to move and get up, and they realized my legs
are asleep.
My legs are asleep, and trying to get as much of that worked out before they had to do a dead sprint when the helos hit the ground.
A 12-hour ride, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Just an insane mission that really only you guys could could conduct.
Yes, sir.
12-hour mission. You think you still hit it plus or minus 30 seconds?
They were dead on 0-0. I was right overhead. I was the one that told them, "Hey, you're cleared in."
Yeah.
We cleared the route up. I actually got the route for them, and I said, "Hey, you're green."
Yeah. Do you think there's anything unique about the Afghanistan experience that pushed the 160th to become better? Because now you're doing it for real and you're getting reps in, unlike other, we'll call them random high value targets that sometimes happen around the world.
Sure.
That's a one and done, you know, and it's a great indicator of how good you are, because your cold bore shot is how good you are.
Yes, sir.
But it's not a great job it's not a good indication or not a good way to refine your skills. And now we get to really see who we are and see how much better we can get.
You bet.
What do you think Afghanistan did for the 160th?
The terrain was our worst enemy, and altitude.
Yeah.
You know, figuring out, these machines are limited or could be limited by 14,000 foot mountains, and then the desert, on the south end, operating in that environment. I mean, I tell guys all the time, the most dangerous thing you're going to do is take off and land. And most nights that it was. I think, those were the only guys that could do it successfully and safely. And they did it night after night after night. We got better.
Yeah.
I mean, one night I looked over and bless his heart, he landed, and I kept looking, and he was about 10 foot in the air. I was like, oh my gosh, man, just put it down. Yeah, didn't do that again. Yeah. But trial and error. Yeah, absolutely. It made us better every mission. For the ground force, every mission we would learn new things, new tactics, new ways to do things. You bet. If we didn't, it could cost us a life or get a guy injured or get an aircraft hurt. Yeah,
it's weird until I interview you. I don't think no one does really step back and think about other people's jobs a whole lot.
Yeah.
But if I do something wrong, wildly wrong on target, more than likely I'll cost myself my own life, or I'll pay the price for that. Worst case scenario, my teammate pays the price, which is still horrible.
That's horrible.
But if you guys do something wrong, you're responsible for you, your crew, and everybody in the back who has no control over what happens.
Yeah.
Like it's got to weigh heavily.
It does. We had a mishap one night, an MH6. I don't know if you'd heard the story. They came back to the DLS and gotten brown out and rolled the helicopter over and hurt a couple of guys pretty bad. Luckily, nobody was killed. But man, it's the price of doing business in austere environments.
It is, which goes back to what we talked about earlier. You have to train dangerously.
Yes, you do.
Because
right out to the edge.
Right out to the edge. Yeah, you really do. When Iraq kicked off, I mean, you guys are only in Afghanistan for a few years, and if you're already having to weigh, we have to support SIX, we have to support CAG, we have to support the Rangers. When SF really needs us, and for particular missions, we have to support those guys as well. And now we've decided to split in one country. That's enough to ask of you guys.
Yes.
And now the country says, "Hey, we're gonna split these in two, but we can't split. We only have one of you. We only have
so many
bodies."
That's
right. Yeah. We there's only one of you. We can split our tier 1 units in two. We can put CAG over here. We can put ST6 over there. But like I said, there's only one of you guys. How? I don't know how you guys did it. But when we started looking towards Iraq, what was the feeling of a whole new front that you had to concern yourself with, and a whole new environment?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and I mean Well, first of all, we set the conditions from conducting months and months of training, here at home to prepare. We knew we were going, when we were going. So that, I think that helped the whole force quite a bit. And I mean, we probably close to 5 months out west and nonstop. And we were prepared for the OIF or the Iraq mission. And, we already had pre-designated targets. And the AHs, we went out first. We went 2 days before the whole force did. We went out on 19 March 03 and for two consecutive nights hit pre-planned targets. 8 AHs total, 4 teams to set the conditions for the Air Force that was coming, the ground force that was coming, and then C Squadron went with us, so they went over the berm same night. And
Yeah.
I bet Chili who would fire the first shots that night. I was like, dude, I'm in a helicopter. You knucklehead. I won.
Yeah, I can't believe we haven't had Chili Palmer on the show yet.
Yeah,
He's a good friend of mine.
Chili.
I love Chili. He's a good dude.
Miho, Chili, all the old crew. Yeah.
Was there
Burned.
some sort of internal fight for guys because someone had to stay back and take care of Afghanistan, and someone had to go to the new shiny target?
Yes, sir.
Was everyone eager to chase the Iraq invasion?
Everybody.
Yeah,
That's who we are. I mean, it was tough, and but we, they got it, and we always have to maintain somebody at home for whatever reason. But the commander, he chose a cruise, and everybody had to be good with it.
Right.
So everybody was going to get their turn.
Yeah.
And I would tell guys, hey, be careful what you wish for. And that was in the very early days,
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Flying wise, I can tell you, assaulting wise, as a military and as an assaulter, we were much better equipped and ready for the Iraq mission. Sure. It was a very urban mission. Mm-hmm. We've hit urban mount sites for years and years and years and years, and that's really what it was. Was that the same on the aviation side? Do you feel like you guys were more prepared?
Yes, sir.
For Iraq? And
yes, absolutely.
It also, here's a double-edged sword of Iraq, and I'm thinking more through an aviation aspect. The targets themselves are better defined. The terrain is pretty much the same, but where you're very vulnerable as an aviation platform in an urban environment.
Yes.
To me, an urban is better. It's a known. We are set up to fight in this. But for you guys, I feel like it's a little bit more risky because your threats are everywhere and could be anywhere.
Plus the environment, so the winds. Winds play a big factor in the little birds, and so you always have to be aware of situational awareness is very critical, and especially if you're going to get a call for fire, so setting up for the shot and where friendlies are, and a lot of people don't realize in B company for the gun guys, we have to know the ground scheme maneuver better than the ground force because we can't pull a trigger until we account for everybody down there. We have to.
Yeah, I don't make sure that the listeners understand that is that you're there to save us. Like if we're calling you in, we need the help. We need the help. And it's if I have to get close enough to them to kill them, it really means they're close enough to me to kill me as well. And that's just the agreement that you've decided you're okay with.
You're okay with
and you're hoping that you're better trained. Not hoping. You've proven that's right. That you're faster and better than that person. But they still get a vote.
Yeah.
The good news about wanting an aviation asset to come in and help take care of this is you can at least have some sort of standoff and make it more of an unfair fight. Now they have to, and plus they're looking, their attention is diverted to two different places. We're swaying everything in our favor.
You bet.
But for you to do that, like you said, you have to know where we are. We have to do a good job of explaining where the enemy is.
Yeah.
Words are I don't think people understand, words are the worst form of communication.
They are the worst and the slowest.
And the slowest.
And the slowest.
Right.
Yeah.
And the responsibility that you guys carry and weigh is, if you don't know exactly what's going on, and we can have this plan, this is where we're supposed to be,
Yeah.
and we can move to.
It changes.
And we can move pretty fast,
Yes,
you
sir.
know, and you could come in with all good intentions to help out and end up with disastrous effects, because there's no such thing. There's no such thing as friendly fire.
No.
And nothing's more accurate than American fire.
That's right.
So it's very,
Yeah.
very
Once you
dangerous.
launch that bullet, there's no bringing
Yeah.
it back.
They don't bring it back.
You got to be 100% that is in fact the target that they want serviced.
Yeah. Do you think that's something we got better at as
Absolutely.
well, and probably from coaching from you guys saying, "Hey, this is what you're saying, but this is what we need."
Yes. Yes. Yeah, the flash to bang, I would say that time got cut in half in the first 6-8 months in Iraq. I mean, you guys really got good at, and again, you know, you said it, words are the worst thing. I have your position, I have your location, just mark the target.
Right.
I'll
Visual.
do the rest.
Give me a visual.
I'll do
That's
the
right.
pilot stuff. I tease him all the time.
Yeah.
I was like, man, Mijo, you want to come over and fly this thing? Come on, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, everybody got better.
Yeah.
We had to.
Well, there's one more I'm going to throw in the mix on you. We
Oh.
just talked about supporting the Rangers, supporting Six, supporting us. But that wasn't everyone you supported. You supported other people as well. Who, I mean, just talk about just asking a lot again from one of the smallest units. Who else did you guys support?
Some foreign countries.
Right. And now,
Yes, sir.
and they're great, and they're great men.
Yes.
But
Operators, great operators.
they're the best. Some of we've had them on our show before. You know, the SAS, the 22 SAS. They're the best.
Yeah.
But here's a tough question that we talked about a little bit earlier. But again, there's some things I think about now that I'm kind of looking at through your eyes. I always knew you guys supported them, and I was like, you know, I didn't give it a second thought. But when we're asking you to do something very dangerous, when you're doing it for fellow Americans in the back of your bird, it's an easy call.
Yes, sir.
And this is nothing. It's not personal. It's nothing like that. But
No.
at some point, when they're asking you to do something very dangerous, even though they're friendlies, but for foreigners,
They're asking me to hang it out for them.
yeah. Do you ever, to some degree, it's just a fleeting moment, be like, you know what? Bring your own helicopters. If you want to request this support, then you need to bring this support. I know that
You bet.
some people may seem like, well, that's a bad attitude to
kinda
have.
selfish.
Well, then you go fly them.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
But yeah, I'm not saying that was a overarching, feeling of it. I'm just saying as a thought in your mind, something you had to deal with to some degree.
You bet. Yeah, I had it. Did. But
Never
we're
stopped.
there to do a
flying,
mission,
though.
and we're going to do the mission.
Yeah, and I know
They need us, or they wouldn't ask.
right, and it wasn't just them. And we work with a lot of other Tier 1 units, and you'd be the one who else brings their own aviation assets, or do we
The
all
Brits,
want
they kind of sort of have.
to insert with?
Pardon?
To insert with?
Yes, sir.
As insertion platforms?
Yeah, Pumas and the Lynx.
I did know they have those. I just never saw them use it, which doesn't mean that they never used it
Right.
By any means. But something tells me, I'm going on a limb here, they'd prefer to use you guys.
Yes. Yeah, they would try. Sometimes we could support them.
Yeah.
You know, if Green was doing a GAF or a ground assault, through vehicles, and they needed some air assets, we'd get sliced to them. help out the mates, not be a wanker.
They're also some of the funniest guys.
Dude,
Gosh, they're
a
funny guys. I'd put my life on the line and hanging out with those guys just because of how funny they are.
Yeah, they are. And the sergeant major would always, everybody would get 2 Guinness for the debrief.
Really?
Oh, yes, sir.
Love that. Love that culture.
Yeah.
I think they're
Or be like, it's time for tea, mate. I'm like, sir, there's a major gunfight going on. It'll be here when we return. Okay.
They are. There's what do they say? There's it's a stereotype, but it's a stereotype for a reason,
Yes.
you know, as well. They don't completely break that
Very
mold.
proper.
Yeah.
Very proper.
You got shot down in Iraq, didn't you?
I did.
Why'd you do that?
I did. Guy shot me in the back, and it was daytime. So we're night stalkers, not day stalkers.
Yeah,
It was one of those times they needed help, so we went to go help them.
was that it was in Fallujah, correct?
South of Fallujah.
South of Fallujah.
Yeah.
Man,
Down in Amaria.
it's one thing to. It's almost a double negative, right?
Yes.
That
Yes.
that area is already a tough
It was a
area.
wild, wild
and now
west.
you're going to add daytime, you know, on top of it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it was in 04. And there had already been, so from Ramadi to the west, go east to Fallujah, then south to Amaria, that triangle we called the Devil's Triangle.
Okay.
There had been 7 aircraft shot down in that triangle. No survivors. I mean, Marine, Army. Yeah, I had a theory about it that it was somebody that didn't like us, and they were using highly advanced systems that no other country had, SA-16s.
Yeah.
So they had 7s and a few 14s, but you know, with that system, the battery is the key to that surface air weapon. So
Okay.
yeah, I got popped. I didn't crash. I got shot down. Doggone it.
There's clearly a difference.
Yes,
In the aviation
there's a
world,
big
clearly there's
difference.
a difference. Did you see it coming?
No,
Or did you,
I
you,
did
just, you
not.
just got hit and had to figure it out? I mean, obviously you figured it out real quick.
Very
but,
quickly.
yeah.
Very quickly.
What?
Yeah, they had completed the mission. Troop commander had called and said, "Hey, we're getting out of here." And of course, we were, "Oh, okay, come on, let's go, let's get out of here." And it's a little after 1 in the afternoon, and they had 3 gun trucks and then 2 Panders
Okay.
on the recce guys, and I'd swooped them, so I'd just done a really low pass. I was in a climbing right-hand turn, and boom, it's an IR seeker, so it seeks the heat from the engine for the system. Shoulder launched, shoulder fired, and 2 of the guys actually saw the shot. It came from this 2-story building right at the edge of the western edge of Amaria, and one of them said, because we study those weapon systems.
Okay.
So those missile systems, they leave a smoke trail. And one will be like an SA-7's a really dark gray smoke with a big corkscrew. You know, SA-16's a real tight corkscrew and then really light colored smoke, you know. So you can kind of get close to what it was. And one of the guys, he said, "Hey, Greg, I'm pretty sure it was a 16. I said, "Wow, okay." So, yeah.
Do you remember being almost shook or alarmed at how violent it was,
Yeah.
or surprised at how what?
It surprised me. It was extremely violent,
Yeah.
and I'm not embellishing this one bit. It shook the whole aircraft. The explosion was the first thing. Of course, I didn't see it coming, and then all the bells and whistles go off for, you know, engine out, engine oil pressure low, and on and on and on. But yeah, that missile system, and they have a prox fuse, a proximity fuse. So when it gets to a certain distance, it explodes. So all those fragments are carried through the aircraft and the engine. So it hit the engine. There's actually one of the Rangers threw his camera up and took a picture of it. Me in the air on fire. I was like, bro, why weren't you suppressing the target instead of taking pictures of my knucklehead?
I bet you like that picture now, though, don't you?
We laugh about it. We're very close friends now. Me and Jeremy.
But the helo stayed together, boom intact.
Yeah, I went to work, and I'm an instructor pilot, so I entered an auto rotation.
Okay.
And in a helicopter, that's what we do. We move the controls. The rotor continues to spin, and it's just like a power off landing at the bottom. You gotta maneuver it, a certain height. You do a decel to bleed your airspeed off, and I didn't know the condition of the ground whatsoever. It was just, dirt. It was out in the middle of the desert, and helicopter pilots, we use vertical, telephone poles or a building or something to kind of give us an idea of how high we are off the ground.
Okay.
And we have a radar altimeter in the little bird. So I kept glancing at it, make sure everything's where it needs to be, and conducting that auto rotation, and landed fine, slid about 35, 40 meters, went down a bit of a slope, and the skid stuck in the dirt. And end over end we went. And I relive it all the time. And I came to, and I heard this popping, I was like, and I remember hearing the 50. So the boys, they were engaging that building where the shot came from. And I heard this popping. And I'm like, what in the world? And then I was like, oh my gosh, that's ammo cooking off. I was like, that fire's close. Because where our ammo can sits, right behind us. And I had rockets on board, and I thought about, those, what are they going to do when they catch? What are they going to explode? Or they didn't do anything. Actually, they just burn up. But listened to that ammo cook off, and I looked over at my co-pilot. I put my hand on his shoulder, and we were inverted. We came to rest upside down, and he had blood all over his face. So now I'm thinking, did he get hit?
Yeah.
And the little bird historically was bad about the shoulder harness not locking in a crash sequence. So the pilot would hit the cyclic with his face. And that's the first thing I thought of. I said, oh man, he hit the cyclic. That wasn't the case, but so I told him, I says, hey, I'm going to go over here because you don't want to get in front of a gun bird because you don't know if a rocket will go off or the minigun might go off or whatever. So we'll always meet at the 3 o'clock or the 9 o'clock position. But I pointed because we were both, it knocked us both out. I was knocked out. And my, first thing I thought of was, okay, I'm going to get my rifle, get out, assess. And I could hear the gunfire. They were still shooting. The other AH came over, and he started to shoot. And I kind of did a 360 just to secure, our position, because the first thing I thought of, again, was Black Hawk Down.
Right.
Here's a little bird, daytime, on fire here 300 meters from this hornet's nest we just stirred up.
Yeah.
So then I looked, and I didn't see my co-pilot, and I was like, crap. This helicopter's, it's burning now. And so I kind of waddled over there, told him, you got to get out. I kind of turned around, focused to the east where the Ville was, and looked, still nobody. So I waddled back over there, and his arm was like this, and the fire was kind of rolling up to his arm. So I just reached up, pulled his buckle, and he came down, and I just grabbed him, pulled him out over on top of me, and we crawled out of it. So.
Do you know what was causing the bleeding on his face?
Yeah, he bit through his tongue.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's...
Bit through his tongue. Doggone, bless his heart. Just like, because I assessed him, pretty closely once we got settled, and I put him in a prone. I got on a knee and just facing towards friendlies. And I told him, I said, hey, if you see somebody or see something, let me know because we're both kind of jacked up right now, and
Right.
I don't want to. We'll put 2 eyes on it, 2 guns. Prepare for whatever may come. But
How long did it take for the operators to
I
get
have
to
no
you?
idea. I have no
Still
earthly
a blur.
idea. Yeah, it was a blur, and it and then I was looking over him, and I said, okay, I said, let me see your teeth, and he kind of did that, and I said, well, your grinners look good. I said, stick out your tongue, and he did, and I was like, oh. I said, okay, you're fine.
Right.
You'll be okay. Oh, Lord. And, and then we heard a truck, and then I saw a ball cap kind of bouncing. He was running, and it was Chaz. And he stopped and looked at us, and then he took off running again, and we stood up, and he threw his arms around us. He's like, man, I thought you were dead, Gravy. I said, we ain't dead.
Oh, man.
He was like, what do you want to do? I said, I want to find that son of a gun. I want to kill him.
Yeah.
He was like, get in the truck. I said, okay. So then was, I don't know, 5-6 hour gunfight after that.
Yeah. They end up dropping on that building? Do you know? Or they just...
I don't know. I don't think so.
What about your bird? They end up dropping on the bird? What do they do? What do they do with that?
So it completely, I got pictures of it. I mean, they put it in a box finally, but they had called the 82nd, and we went back to it. That's right. We went back to it because I wanted to ensure that there weren't any sensitive items, KYs or NVG, whatever.
Right.
There was nothing. It was just a big pile of melted metal. Yeah. And a couple guys took pictures. I actually drew a sketch. They told me, I didn't remember that, but of, if they wanted to investigate it or whatever the case. And, but yeah, that was about it. And the 82nd got on board, and they just piled it up in the back of a deuce and a half, I think.
Okay.
And they brought it back to the States and did forensics on it. There was a certain agency that wanted to confirm or deny, because we were the only survivors we were the 8th. I think the 8th helo shot down in that triangle. And sure enough, they found a little piece of metal that said it was an SA-16. And then we were the last. So there weren't any more engagements of that weapon system, thank God. So leave it to Gravy. Goodness.
Oh,
another day at the office. Yeah.
It's always it's always a possibility. It's a reminder, and I just can tell you from personal experience, you do a dangerous job for a really long time, and at some point, not completely, but at some point you stop. I don't know if I want to say you stop respecting the danger, or it's something in that, in and around that category. Sure. I don't know exactly what it is, but you start playing a little fast and loose.
Yes, sir.
And that's a dangerous place to be.
It is. And I think
doesn't mean that you were doing anything wrong.
No.
But per se, that's not what I mean by that.
I think we felt immortal. Because up until 2004, we hadn't had any incidents.
Right.
We'd always been on the winning side.
Right. Exactly.
On and on and on.
Stop respecting the danger.
Yes,
almost. Just like
complacent,
you said.
not quite complacent, but I don't know, immortal.
Yeah, you feel a little bulletproof, man. Right? Yeah. We're that good. We always win. We're used to winning. Yes, I know. It's not that you don't think it's dangerous anymore. You know it's dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
And again, you just don't think it's going to happen to you.
No, don't. And I hate daytime. I'd rather fly night vision. It's just, and I even before then, I didn't like flying during the day. It's just too much input, to our brains, and I shoot better at night than I do during the day. It's just, it's different.
Those little birds at night are just shadows, or just they're just death waiting in the dark.
Death waits in the dark. Then you wait for the fur ball. We call it when we get to shooting at a target. we're just yeah, it's crazy.
But you would think, speaking of Iraq, there's Afghanistan had its own dangerous parts about it because of the terrain. You guys may not have thought about it like this, but there are some things we do look at as assaulters, and it makes us nervous. And I don't know if it makes you guys nervous because you guys have done it so many times.
Yes, sir.
You put a little bird in an alley, and there's about 6 inches of clearance on each side of those rotor blades.
I know exactly what you're saying.
And we go,
don't watch.
He's good. I hope he's good. Does he know how close this is? It's going to fit, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it fits. And you put it in, you slam it on the ground. Those skids compress. We jump off. You guys take off like it was nothing. And
we'll be back.
And we don't think about it again until the end of the mission.
Right.
And it'll get brought up internally in the mission. Did you see where that guy put it and how little space he had on that thing?
Yes, sir.
Do you guys worry about that as much as we do when we're looking at it going, I don't know if there's enough space there.
Yeah.
Is that a shared, or do you guys just like, no, I got it.
I can recall several, we're overhead watching the MHs coming in, and I'm thinking to myself, he is not going to land right there. There is no, here they come. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Man. Yeah.
I don't. There's just not a lot of 1/60th guys that anyone really gets to interview, and it's awesome. Everybody knows who the 1/60th is. They do
now. I think
it's real, but it really is. I don't know if I'll be able to do it justice until you witness it. It's almost, we already said words is one of the hardest things, worst forms of communication.
Yep.
It is really hard to relay to everyone listening how amazing the pilots are at the 1/60th.
They're the best.
Until you witness it, until you see them land and take off in a matter of seconds in exactly the part of a map you told them to land.
Yep.
Until you see them
building,
until you see them lip land, and at that speed, I've lip landed with other units, and they will take their sweet time lining that up. Not the 1/60th.
Gotcha. Yeah,
they'll just put it right there on the skid, hover, not move the whole time. While you have 200 and 300 pound men unloading and messing with the weight transfer, you wouldn't know it by the birds. There's so many different ways I could try to explain it, but like I said, at the end of the day, until you're in the back of that bird and you witness it happening, you have no idea how good you guys are.
Yeah.
Thank you. And we talked about it. I'm sure you couldn't have been any more proud of your boys for the Maduro raid.
Yes.
And what
proud.
They did.
That was awesome. That's what we do.
That was a special one.
That's what we do.
And there's a Medal of Honor that came out.
Night Stalker, first one. That
is that part of it.
40 years.
When you said that, I just would have assumed there was one. Although, of course, I couldn't name one. It's just when you're like, that was the first Medal of Honor winner. I was like, that's insane with the amount of things you guys have done to get one. Long overdue. Long overdue. Yeah. And that's the problem with greatness to some extent. You can do great things, but when your unit is expected to do those things, it just gets looked over like, oh, they're just doing their job.
Another day at the job.
But if anyone else did what you guys did, it would have been Valor Awards for everyone.
Yeah.
But because you guys did it, it's just another day at the office.
Another day at the office. Yes, sir.
And I love it and I hate it at the same time.
Yeah. Just another target. We got to put the boys in safely and get them out.
Yeah. And that you guys did.
Yeah.
Do you remember your the last combat mission you flew?
Yes.
And did you know it was your last?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, the boss he'd already come up to me and he said, "It's time to go home, Gregory." Dang, use my full name. Whenever we were kids, if it got first name, middle name, oh Lord, now you're in trouble. So and I was, I told the guys I'm a liability. I've had 52 surgeries, and I have like 48 or 49 pieces of titanium in my body. And I would come home, have a surgery or a procedure, rehab, go back. Come home, have a surgery. That was just crazy. I should have never done it.
Yeah, you're a metal detector's nightmare.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I've, and I told myself that, I'm becoming a liability, and I don't want to be a liability.
Yeah,
So
it's hard. It's hard.
I was
to accept.
afraid I'd miss something.
Of course,
of
course I know.
You know how it is.
Right.
Eh? You're like,
one more. That's
more.
the problem. How many more missions do you want to go on? And the answer is always one more, which means it'll never be enough.
No,
it'll never be enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's the closest thing to a drug that I could. I don't do drugs, but that was my drug.
Adrenaline.
That was my drug.
It's the greatest drug on the planet, brother.
And once you get a hit of that, once you get a hit of life and death, and once you get a hit of cheating death, nothing will replace it.
Nothing.
There's nothing I will ever do again in my life that will. Roller coasters are boring to me. Just nothing. The closest thing to it was dumping my life savings into a business and hoping I don't lose it all.
Yes,
that was an adrenaline rush.
Yes, sir.
But
scared to death.
But not the same. It was as close as it'll get.
Yeah.
And
when you're in that bump, going up to the top, pushing over, and like, okay, there it is, lifting the cover on that trigger.
But because of what you did and the way you went about it, not taking no for an answer, forcing your way into it, but also preparing. So like, thanks for giving me the chance, but I'll prove that I was worth betting on with hard work and dedication and preparation.
Yes, sir.
You get to live the rest of your life knowing who you are, and that's irreplaceable.
Yes,
it's irreplaceable as the older you get. That they can never take away from you.
No, and the men we serve with, those friendships are lifelong, lifetime friendships that you'll never forget.
On your last mission, do you think maybe for the first time, or one of the few times, you think you finally did a good job of trying to take it all in, and realize what it is, the movie you've been living this whole time and took for granted?
Yes, I did.
Do you have any regrets?
I've been asked this before. My children, missing them growing up. That's the only one. Yes, sir. Kind of cheated them.
That's dang it, Greg. You got me.
Yeah. Well,
because I know the answer.
It's just,
and I hate it, because you can hate that part all you want, but there's nothing you could do about it, because you can't. It's one of the you can't have both. It's one thing when one person looks back at at their kids and their kids' lifetime, and they go, well, I could have spent more time with my kids, and I wish I would have. Yeah. But that really wasn't truly a choice for you. No. I mean, sure, you could have got out, but that's not. Yeah. But that's no one wins.
Nobody does.
Who's going to protect the boys? Who's going to do the job that you can do?
Yes, sir.
But who's going to be your dad's? Who's going to be your kid's dad? And it's just the most unfair situation to be in.
Yeah, and time, we can't get it back.
No.
It's gone. But yeah, good Lord put me here and put me in those places. And yeah, now we live each day to its fullest. You bet.
I don't think it makes you feel any better because they're only kids once.
Yeah.
You don't get that back.
No. You don't. That's the sacrifice, though, of who we are and what we do.
Yeah.
It is.
You know, it's ironic. That's what I say this little loosely, but you complain about the surgeries and the physical aspect of it.
Yeah.
But when I asked you what your regret was, it wasn't anything physical. It was the kids aspect to it.
Kiddos.
Yeah. But you know what
I dedicated the book to, I don't remember what I wrote now, but it says, to the children of warriors, I pray that this book.
Sure. We get it right.
Dedicated to the children of warriors, I pray this story will shed some light on the absence of your father. Yes, sir.
Well, I guess the silver lining is the boys don't need protecting anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You did that. But you can still be a father for the rest of your life.
Yes.
You missed one aspect of it, but it doesn't mean that that you completely missed that boat.
No. God bless me. We have 14 grandchildren.
I think God,
Snickers and Mountain Dew for everybody. Then you're going home.
something tells me God see the sacrifice you made and said, you know what? He may have missed someone's childhood, but I'm going to give him 14 childhoods to look after to make up for it.
He blessed us.
And I'm serious when I say that. God,
I never thought of it that way, Brent.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Well, Grace, talk about the book for a little bit. Where can they get the book for starters?
I don't have any more books, but it is available on Audible and then Kindle.
I love that. We have on our Patreon, we have a book club.
Yes.
Most of my books I listen to on the road. And the only time I get the hardback is after I listen to it. And I go, I really like that book. And I just want the hard copy to remind me of it, I suppose. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think that's how most books get consumed these days.
Yeah. It is. I did a lot of research and it was cool and all. I did 1,000 hardbacks when they first came out, and the first 500, the book was numbered, and then I had coins made. The coin was numbered for that book, and then some other swag with it. But
and you did something unique with the profits of the book, didn't you? The proceeds.
Yes, sir. I prayed about it, and I donate 100% of the proceeds from every book sold. And to date, I think we're up to about $116,000 is what we've donated to nonprofits that support vets, first responders, and their families.
That's amazing.
It's cool, man.
That's amazing.
Yeah, some of the guys are like, "Are you stupid?" Or
a little bit,
well, maybe a little bit. But no, that's what was on my heart, and
I love it.
I can't tell you how many people over the last. It's been 5 years now. They've emails, texts, calls, letters, thanking me for writing this book.
Yeah,
this helped moms, dads, brothers, sisters, GIs. Yeah, so it's been a blessing. We've sold over 10,000 copies.
It's amazing. I love it.
That's cool.
I love it. Well, hopefully, I know this. There's gonna be a lot of people to watch this, and a lot of people love looking for the next book. And we'll put it out on our Patreon.
Yeah, thank you
about that. And on Bittersweet, unfortunately, you won't make any money because of it. No, but
I don't need it.
But the good news is we'll add it to the tally that you donate to veterans.
You bet.
You also got the knife making
Yes.
too, didn't you?
Yes.
When did you get into that?
So I know I've got several buddies they're world-class bladesmiths, knife makers. Of course, I knew Bob very well. He was a good friend of mine. And his twin brother, John, is a master bladesmith. And then Jared Johnson, Bill Harsey, doggone, Steve Schwarzer. But I noticed these guys, they kept bugging me. They're like, hey, man, you need to come do this. Come hammer some steel. And I'm like, no, I don't have time. So one day I did. Jared lives about 20 minutes away. So he's like, hey, come to the forge. We're going to forge some blades. I said, okay. So went over. Long story short, that first day I started and I haven't looked back.
Yeah.
But and even my wife, she said, I noticed a difference in you since you started making knives. And my neurologist that I go visit every year, he's seen my tests go up over the last 4 years. But it gives us focus. It gives me a mission.
Yeah.
It's, use math, use art, use all these things that goes in for me because I still do everything by hand. And, and I love it. And then at the end, man, I got this cool blade or whatever the case. And so I got an idea one day. I talked to my wife, Edie, about it. And I says, hey, I want to start a nonprofit. And I want to bring guys in and show them. I don't have a clue what I'm doing, but I have fun, man.
Right.
I do.
Right.
And I have really good teachers and mentors. But
Stuff tells me how fun everywhere you go, Greg.
So I started Blades for Brothers.
Okay.
And 3 years ago. So I bring in vets, first responders, and family members.
Yeah.
I had a Gold Star son come 2 years ago.
Very
And he spent 3 days with me. We have a bunkhouse there at the shop. So you come from out of town, you're welcome to stay. We'll make some knives, go shoot pigs, or sit by the fire, whatever.
I love it. It's a good man skill.
It is.
Whether it's woodworking, any sort of fabrication, if you can just being able to make something, to think of something, and then take your focus and energy and make something. And at the end of the day,
we have to have a mission.
We have to have a mission.
We have to have a mission.
I'll tell you, this,
You
if you want to switch it to me, Drew, real quick.
That's my latest prison shiv, as John Horgan calls them.
I
love it, John.
That is a cool, simple. Like I said, it kind of has it's very almost V22-esque, but with a modern spin to it. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, last word. Is there anything else you want to talk about that we haven't covered?
I think we've about covered it all, brother.
We covered a few things.
Yeah.
I do have one last question for you.
Okay.
It's the last question I always have for everyone, and I'm gonna need you to make me laugh because you almost made me cry. So you owe me this one. Okay. Tell me a funny story.
Oh, funny story. Oh, goodness. Well, everybody else thought this was funny. So I'll tell a story about myself. So we had 2 targets one night north of Ramadi, had 22nd SAS on one target, and then about 6 miles to the south had a Ranger company doing a target. And we were like, yeah, man, we can cover both of them. Pretty easy.
Okay.
And not far. And we'd all been sick with some kind of bug, stomach bug, man.
Right.
And guys were crapping in the seat. And I'm like, dude, no, man, no. They couldn't help it. I mean, it's like, it's too late. But we have code words.
Okay.
So you get on the radio and you say yellow duck. Mm-hmm. That means I got to stop and pee.
Okay.
Okay. So brown duck means I got to poop.
Right.
So I get word lead. I'm like, oh, dude, I can't do it anymore. Brown duck, brown duck, brown duck. And the other guy, I could hear him chuckling on the radio. And we have an SOP for it. You know, you land and your buddy gets over your head and watches out for you. And
Right.
man, I had to go. I mean, I just crash landed, handed the controls off, and I grabbed my rifle, and I'm leaned up against the rocket pod. My rifle's laying across my knees, you know, just like, ugh. And then I just start to hear shooting. I was like, oh, man, pinch it off. So, yep, pulled my pants up, jumped back in. I was like, we're good to go, bro. So,
The old combat deuce.
man.
The most
getting
shot at, the most dangerous number 2 you'll ever take.
The guy I was flying with, he was laughing so hard, man. He was like, dude, that's crazy.
It is.
It is what it is.
It is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Not landing a helicopter in
In
the
a
middle
gunfight.
of nowhere in a gunfight. Like, brown duck. What are you gonna do?
Brown duck.
Yeah. No, I'm not pooping myself.
Nope.
I'll
Not gonna do it.
I'll go face.
I'm not going to dirty up the crew chief's
gunfire
helicopter.
on the ground before I do that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Greg, I love
Yes,
it.
sir.
We got a live coming up. I can't thank you enough. I knew this
thank
was
you,
going to be a fun episode,
Yeah.
and that's
was
exactly
awesome.
what it was. And the fun's and the live's going to be fun too.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.